Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mondays with Michelle. Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Monday, right? Had a
It's Monday.
busy weekend. So nice to get settled back home. I was gone all weekend in Alabama for a basketball tournament. So got back late last night and hit the ground running today.
And you've got your oldest graduating this week, right? So
It's
congratulations.
such a weird thing. I don't know how I feel about it. I was going through pictures on the plane yesterday, trying to do like a little slideshow for his graduation and like just sitting there with like tears running down my face. It's just such a weird thing to have your oldest graduate, something that you're not prepared for at all. So we have like a graduation party tonight for him. And then he has graduation tomorrow. And my kids keep teasing me. They're like, Mom, you should be ready for this. He's 19 years old. And I don't think you're ever ready for it, no matter how old your kids are, for them to like leave the house.
I agree with you. And it's like such a bittersweet situation because, as with many things in our life, we work so hard to get it to this place where it's independent and doing all of these amazing things, and our heart's been involved in it. And then all of a sudden, it's like time to let it go, whether this is a business, a job, a child growing up, on and on. So, my heart's there with you. I've done it 3 times. I've good news. There's light at the other end of this tunnel. But yes, just honor where you're at.
I know. And I'm so excited for him. Like he's off to do big things. He's going to college. He's going to play basketball in college, like living his dreams. And so, of course, I'm so grateful for that. And like, so happy for all of those things. And at the same time, it's like your first one leaving the house. It's just crazy, but we'll get through it and it'll be great.
Yeah. And it's going to hurt and it's going to be amazing and all of the above.
It's like this wide range of emotion, right? It's like the sadness and the happiness, and you're just like feeling it all. And you kind of just feel like you're on a roller coaster, going through all those emotions.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will be sending you light and love on this roller coaster.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah. How are our questions looking today?
Well, we've got quite a few questions on the chat, so I'm going to start with those. I'd like to get to as many of those as possible. We love when we have our viewers watching live. It's so fun. So we're going to kind of get to those questions first today. So
Okay.
to start off, and I'll just say the first names in the chat. So Jan, will I meet someone for a longer relationship this year? Soulmate would be fun. Thanks.
I love that, Jan. Here's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling yes, but I want to go towards the end of the year. So I'm looking at late fall is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking October, November. So stay in that frame of mind. Also, when we're wanting to meet our soulmate or just the right person to date or whatever, our life partner, here's what we really have to think about: being the vibrational match for the person that we want to bring in. So that is the easiest way to attract the right person to you. So think about the qualities that you want in that person, the way you want them to feel. The other side of that coin is learning to love yourself. You've got to know how you need to be loved, or else no one else is going to know how to love you. So be really, I would just say, excited about it and kind of claim it.
I love that. And I would just add to that a little bit. Like, I remember when I was single, being open to any and all possibilities of where you could meet that person. I think sometimes we have in our mind, like, oh, I won't meet someone here, and I was kind of like, I'll never meet anyone on the dating apps. Like, I was just so against it. And in a roundabout way, that is how I met my husband. And so I kind of just expanded and was like, I could meet my soulmate anywhere at any time, and things can change so quickly.
I love that. And let's talk about dating apps for a minute, because this is something that comes up with my clients regularly, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to, okay. And I remember you telling me, Michelle, this is like a full-time job, being on a dating app. So I remember all of that. And I've never been on one, so I can't actually tell you my story with that. But what I can tell you is how energetically dating apps work. Because what is happening if you join a dating app or a meetup group or anything like that, some type of social group or singles group, you are literally saying to the universe, I am putting my energy online. Here I am, right? I'm ready. I'm moving forward and all of those things. And so very often dating apps and singles groups, all of those things really do work because you've made an energetic statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interesting because how I met my husband was from a guy that I went out with on the dating app. And he ended up showing a picture of me to my now husband. And so my husband got on the dating app and found me and swiped up on me. And if I hadn't been on the apps, I probably wouldn't have never met him. Our paths didn't really cross. And so just like I said, being open to all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And if we come into it with a negative mindset, like, oh, this is so hard, because they're hard. And at the same time, they can be fun. And I met some really fun people, and I met my husband. So it can work, and it can work in a lot of different ways too, not only the dating apps, but there's tons and tons of different ways that you can meet someone.
Yeah, put your energy behind it. Stay in energetic alignment to Jan and everyone else asking this question right now, because I know it's a popular question.
Yes.
All right, what do we have?
Question. Okay, next one. This is from Shelly. When will my spouse and I be financially able to retire? Do you see us relocating?
Okay, so I just heard 2 years. That was the first thing that I heard. I would say if there's a relocation, I'm kind of getting more the words of downsizing. So do I feel like you would relocate? I do. I don't think that's going to happen right now. I would say this year, keep doing what you're doing. Next year to me is what Spirit is saying is the strategy or the planning year.
Great. Thanks, Michelle. Okay, this is a fun question. We haven't had anything like this one, so this is a fun one.
All right.
Are crop circles actually messages? And if so, what are they saying?
Oh, I love that question.
So you notice, like, when you're flying up in a plane sometimes and you see those, you're like, how, like, what, like, how did that form? Like, what is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to say yes, crop circles are messages, right? And I want people to think of these. Everything on the planet is always talking to us. If you are somebody who is able to feel energy and you pick up a rock, this rock is 5 billion years old. It's got a story to tell, even though it's hard to imagine that. So everything is always speaking to us. Crop circles are too. How exactly they're created, I think we have a few options. I think we have ET options. I think we have interdimensional options. I think there are multiple ways that that's happening, but there's an energy and a message that happens with everything on this planet.
Thanks, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next question is from Colton. What's at the center of the earth? Is it hollow?
Ooh, I love that, right? That's a good, you know what? I love these fun questions. Yes, keep those things coming.
Thinking questions.
So yeah, because I've never actually, so when I tap into the center of the earth, what I actually feel like, if I go center, 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 and I'm doing it right now, because think about the earth, we know we have layers, right? Layers of soil and lava and all of that is there. But when I get to the center of the earth, you know, it feels like one of those round styrofoam balls to me. So I would say at the very least, I would use the words light and porous.
Interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
That took me right back to, like, I don't know, maybe elementary, junior high school, where you had to, like, cut the earth in half and, like, make those, like, what do they call them? Like the diagram, not diagram things, but like the models of the earth and all the different layers and stuff. Kind of took me back to that. Okay, let's see. Our next question is from Tammy. My son was in an induced coma for almost 2 weeks. What happens to a person in a coma?
Ooh, God, you guys, I love these questions today. Okay, so this is really, really important, and we need to expand this out, not just comas, people who are nonverbal, like on and on. Okay, people who are in the end stages of their earthly life, all of that. Here's what happens when you are in a coma. Our body is obviously kind of in a quiet mode, resting mode, healing mode, but your soul is still exploring. It is having connections with the other side. You could be buzzing around the universe. You can be observing the way your families are responding to the trauma that you're going through. So no matter what our physical body looks like, our soul is still learning, exploring, and not connected to it 100%. Just like at night, a lot of times people at night, your soul is exploring the universe. You are connecting with your loved ones in the heavenly realm. So we are kind of tethered by a string to our body until we disconnect completely, but our soul is always growing and learning and having fun. So that's a great question. I would also just say this: very often when I'm reading for somebody who has had a loved one transition, and they'll ask me, did they hear the last thing I said to them? The answer is always yes, but most of the time it's not because they heard it in the body. They were outside of the body in their soul, standing with their loved ones behind them, and they heard it that way. So yeah, nonverbal comas, all of that. Our soul is still learning, growing, and expanding, and also being able to help facilitate how our loved ones are moving through it, that are in their body and navigating the trauma. Great questions. Love it.
Michelle, I know with your 3 near-death experiences, were all 3 of those, were you in some sort of coma-like state?
No, in one of them, I was actually in surgery under anesthesia. In one of them, I was in a seizure. And then in the other one, I was actually falling off the ladder. So with that being said, I was not in that coma-like state, and yet my soul was still expanding. And especially when we think about that. So people who understand seizures know that this is like a shorting out in the brain, right? And so most of the time when you're in a seizure, there's no memory, there's no visual, there's nothing, because everything is going haywire. So for me to be able to have that intense first near-death experience during what my body was having happen to it, and the hospital team was calling a code blue for me, absolutely, to be able to come back with those memories tells you that your soul is not connected to the humanness in the way that we think it is.
And to have 3 near-death experiences is just unreal. What would you say, like, the common factor, the common, like, thing with all 3 of those was?
Yeah, so the common denominator is that each time, even though I was met and greeted in different environments, I was always met with love, compassion, complete understanding, wholeness. There was never a God, an angel, a life guide, a being standing there judging me, telling me that I had messed up and I needed to go back and fix some stuff. It was never that way. And so that's one of the greatest things that I was able to carry. It also didn't matter how I got there, right? It didn't matter if it was the seizure, surgery, or falling off the ladder. Every time and every way that I got there, it was love, compassion, and bliss. So, yeah.
And I find this so fascinating because what do you personally feel like? What was your reason for why you were sent back to Earth? Why was it not your time? Those 3 different near-death experiences. Why each time was it like, okay, you got to go back. It's not time yet.
Yeah. And the first one, I was not given a choice. And the first one, it was just like I was there and then I was back in my body, and it was heavy and dense. So there was no choice with that. In the second one, I actually felt like my soul was able to usher in a miracle. So I was able to connect with my son, who was 6 weeks old. I remember telling him that I wasn't going to leave him. I'd find a way to stay. And I literally started praying. And then in the third one, that is really the only one that I was given a choice in. And, my kids are amazing anchors. We have quite the soul agreement in this lifetime. And I remember seeing my younger 2 kids in my house. And as soon as I saw them, after I'd been given the option to stay or go, I chose to stay. And in those moments when I made that decision, I was downloaded with a lot of information about, okay, but now you've got to go back and do your mediumship the way you can do it. Your marriage is probably going to end in divorce. You have more trauma ahead. So I remember standing in this perfect heavenly realm with my life guides, which I did not know were life guides at the time. I just thought they were these 3 great people. And I remember them telling me it's going to be really hard. Like, it's not just rainbows and unicorns back there for you. And yet I can remember very clearly on a soul level being like, okay, send me in. I'm going back. And this is how our souls work in that heavenly realm. When we're looking at our life and saying, this is horrible, I never would have chose this. We've got to go to that next level and remember that we do have free will on a soul level and a human level.
Thanks, Michelle. I love that. All right. Our next question is from F. Johnson. My friend's husband died a year ago this month. Her name is Laura. His name is Jonah. Any messages I can pass on to her? She's really struggling emotionally and has gained a lot of weight.
Okay. There's a couple things that I'm getting for that. And thanks for the first names, because that helps me target the energy a little bit faster. What I would tell you that I'm feeling from Jonah is he's like, doesn't she hear all the music I'm sending her? I'm a regular DJ up here. So he's making me laugh. He's got a good sense of humor. So I want to acknowledge that. The physical weight is a sign of the emotional weight that she's carrying. So I just want to say that as a side note. Tell her to pay attention to the music. There's something about the numbers 222. So she might always see that on, I don't know, on the microwave, or maybe there's a connection to the month of February, the 22nd of a month, but the number 2 is important. The other thing that I want to add, which is Jonah is prompting me to say this, is we all have to remember that even though our loved ones are no longer in a body, they are still cheering us on to live. So the grief process, there is no way to bypass it. If there was, I would share that with everyone. I don't even get to bypass it. But what I will tell you is they are on the other side cheering us on. And when we start to realize that on the other side, they're still living life, they're happy, they're connected to us, they're enjoying things, then it gives us permission to live while we're here. So let her hear that. He's trying to show her that, he said, in a lot of different ways. And there's something with birds and feathers and birds and feathers. So I'll throw that in there too. Thank you.
It is so hard. Like us as humans, we miss them so much. We miss their physical presence. And it's so hard sometimes to wrap our minds around that, like they don't miss us. Like they're right here with us. And we're the ones that have to deal with that grief, like you've talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Next question. From Terry, is manifestation the way to fully heal from cancer?
Ooh, I love that. Okay, I'm going to tell you a different word, because what Spirit has always told me when I've asked Spirit about miracles is Spirit calls them happenings. So I'm like, okay, Spirit, what's up with miracles? How come not everybody will receive one? And they said, Michelle, we don't call these miracles, we call them happenings. They happen when you get in alignment, body, mind, and spirit, right? So it's not even about so much this idea. People use the word surrender a lot. I almost want to take it past that word to the word acceptance, because in surrender, there's still a tug of war energy. Think about a battle. Like if you have to surrender the battle, it's not really because you wanted to. It was like there's a heavier energy with it. So when we get to the true root and core of our nature, which is that we are a soul that is loved beyond measure and worthy of every blessing and abundance that this universe has to offer, and we can really start to harness that, we begin to become in alignment, body, mind, and spirit. And when we are in alignment, miracles, as we call them, happen. So this isn't about manifestation. I like that word. I understand where it's coming from, but the bigger, more powerful word for you is alignment. So this is like, what do you do to get in alignment? Do you need to go sit by the ocean? Do you need to meditate? Do you need to go for a bike ride? Do you need to think about how you create alignment in yourself, body, mind, and spirit? Because that is the frequency that healing occurs in.
Thanks, Michelle. I love how you talked about like that surrender piece, because it's like surrender does feel like almost like it's like a giving up, like in battle. And then when you talk about like that acceptance piece, what came to mind too is like just being at peace with things. Because when we're at peace, we can fully be in alignment.
Right. Yeah, because for me personally, surrender doesn't feel like alignment. It's that tug of war. It's like, I don't want to let go. I don't want to let go. But acceptance is like, there's just a different energy which creates the alignment. So yes, thank you for reiterating that. I think that's huge. And I think the other thing is, when we know that the universe does not have a limited amount of miracles, manifestations, blessings for each person, claim what you want. Claim what is rightfully yours. There's more than enough for everyone.
Thanks, Michelle. All right. Our next question is from Karen, in all capital letters. What job will I find?
Oh my gosh, Karen. Okay. So that is huge, because I mean, this is a really big question, and it's such a wide question, right? What I'm going to tell you right now is that I'm told there are 3 options. So there are at least 3 you're applying for right now. And the number 3 has highlighted energy on it. So I want you to really think about your soul, because it's not that we want to just have a job. It's that we want to be able to work with our calling and our passion. So this is going to go back to what aligns with you, because what aligns with you is going to be inspired action by your own soul. And that's going to create the path that you want. So something, I keep getting the word healing. So it's something with healing work that you'll be doing. Let's talk about what that looks like though, because someone can have a soul that has healing energy, wants to show up in the world that way. That could be the massage therapist to the neurosurgeon to the school counselor, right? So notice what the vibrational frequency is of your soul. I'll also tell you this, Karen, whatever job that you're going to be taking in the near future, it's not going to be the job that you retire with. So just look at it and think of this as like the stepping stone to get to the next the next version of you who's going to feel more confident about embracing the life you love.
Thanks, Michelle. Good luck with that job search. All right, our next question is from Natalie. I love where I work and the patients I serve. However, it is not financially stable. I've been trying to manifest other opportunities. I would like some guidance from my spirit guides regarding my job.
Yeah. So what I'm feeling for you is that by July, maybe late June, is really when the next opportunity or opening comes in. I feel like that's going to be important. I also feel like you will always be in some type of healing, kind of like the last question we were just talking about. So I feel like that's there for you. They're also giving me the word consultation. So not knowing what you do, there's something about you being able to consult or something along these lines with helping people in that way. And that the guides are giving me like thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up across the board on that. So think about how you can take what you know and consult or advocate for others, right? Because that feels really important for you. And they are telling me that you're very good at what you do. So how can you turn your passion into something you love that is financially abundant? There's got to be some way you can do consulting or something with that too, because they just keep giving me the word.
Thanks, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to the next question. This one is, in my family lineage has been the dementia spectrum. It's from the mother's side. Is there anything I can do to transform this pattern from our family line? Thanks so much for your kind help.
Yeah. You know what? I am loving these questions today. Just saying that because these are big questions that all of us can take nuggets from and apply to our lives. So, yeah, let's talk about the family lineage of dementia. So as a soul, when we are coming in, we know we are coming in with body, mind, and spirit. So my mom transitioned from breast cancer. So obviously there's that potential, maybe more likely in my DNA than others. But what happens is we come in body, mind, and spirit. It doesn't mean we're going to end up with dementia or breast cancer or ALS or anything like that. We've really got to use the power of our soul and our mind to override the DNA. And we do this all the time. Does anyone have a friend who just keeps getting sicker and sicker? We call these words like hypochondriac and things like that, right? Everything is wrong because they are overriding their DNA in their body, which is always trying to heal. And they're telling it, you're sick, you're weak, you're wrong, you're whatever they're saying, okay? And I'm going to connect a story with my dad that just happened 2 days ago with this. But so when we start looking at our body and we realize that we have also our mind and spirit playing into our DNA, we can eat better, we can exercise, and we can actually claim it on a soul level. I realize my DNA carries this possibility, and I am claiming that I am whole, healthy, and healed. And when you start declaring it, and I mean declaring it, not just like, oh, I hope this is really true. You are declaring it, you are owning it. It shifts your energy, which creates healthy DNA for you. So yes, I feel like this is going to come to completion with you. I want to go back to my dad. So I was in Tucson a couple of days ago and my dad's hurt his knee. And so I was working on his knees and I went to his left knee, which has been his bad knee for years and years, decades, right? Since he played football in high school. And as I started working on it, his right knee is the one that just got injured. All of a sudden, I started feeling all of the emotion that this knee is carrying from the original injury onto everything that has happened that has been emotional for him in his lifetime. And I just said, Dad, there is so much emotion in here. So we started clearing the emotion. And I also told my dad, I said, Dad, this knee doesn't like being called the bad knee, right? Because everything's always talking to us. And he was amazed at how much better his knee felt after I worked on it, on the bad knee. And now it can be the good knee too. So incorporate body, mind, spirit, and emotions into your healing. When we this is my bad shoulder. When we are taking a body part out of the equation, we are almost removing it from that alignment of healing, which has been a theme on this podcast today. So we want to incorporate it, and we don't want it to be the bad knee. We want it to be the good knee. And we want to realize that our body is always wanting to heal. So back to this question after that little, roundabout right there. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't feel like it's your story to get dementia. You need to claim it and own it because your mind and your spirit feel very strong here and you're ready to override the DNA story.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question kind of goes in a line with this because this question comes from Yvonne, and they say, I have early onset Alzheimer's. So they already have it. When my mind doesn't remember or know what is going on, will my soul know everything?
Okay, so everything we just said about the healing before, actually a couple times in this podcast, please listen to that back when this goes up, Yvonne, because you need to hear it again. This was a message for you. And here's what I will tell you. Our soul remembers everything. It carries it, it catalogs it, it knows. So even when our body is starting to look forgetful, or even for me with my traumatic brain injury, I've forgotten different things. My memory's not as good as it used to be. But what has happened is my soul still knows. Think about it this way. When people have a past life regression, that information is not coming from your brain. This brain was not in that body of a past life. That information is channeling through your soul. So our soul always knows. And also, I want to tell you this, Yvonne, your soul is whole and strong and powerful. And also, I want you to claim that you can either stabilize at this level, that there's room to heal, because I actually still feel like there's so much untapped potential for you. So start claiming it and remember that your soul's whole and it will remember everything.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, another question from Tammy. Should me and my husband move my mother-in-law and take care of her?
Move in with her?
No, it sounds like
or like to their area?
Should me and my husband move my mother-in-law? So to me, it sounds like moving the mother-in-law into their home potentially, or okay. And take care of her. That's what it sounds like to me.
Here's what I would say. It's kind of like this energy. Okay. The way that the guides are showing me, it can be successful, but it's going to have some serious boundaries or some, I don't know, I almost want to say rules around it. And that's kind of one of the challenges of this situation, not just for you, but for everyone in it. So can you make it work? Absolutely. But I'm feeling a lot of resistance in your heart. So we got to talk again about energy alignment, right? If you are saying, I can't do this, this is too much, then it's better for her to go to assisted living. I'm just going to say it clearly because your energy is not in alignment with it. If you're saying, I love my mother-in-law, she's always been good to me, I want to help her during this time, and your energy is in alignment, then that makes it an easy yes. Notice where the energy alignment is on this. But I would just say for some reason, they keep saying kind of like boundaries, rules. If in this situation for you, if she comes in, you're going to have some real good clarity around what that looks like.
Yeah, it sounds like really like checking in with your why. Like, why would you be doing it? And like you said, like, is that in alignment or not? Because we get so caught up in like what we think we should do. And that's hard to come from a place of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing too. We think that people can only be happy in the way that we think they can be happy. And that's not necessarily true, because if she doesn't want to come into the home, she might be happier in an assisted living facility where she can make friends, where she has people that understand where she is at in life, right? So don't buy into this one size fits all. Really notice the energy alignment. And in this situation for you, your husband and your mother-in-law.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, our next question from SG. I am dealing with a situation at work, a family business. When do you see it resolving?
Okay, so it's interesting because that's a great question. I feel like it's going to drag on and on. So the question for you from your guides is, how long do you want to play a part of this, right? So again, energy alignment. You can choose to keep this job and watch this. It's going to happen for at least 6 more months. I'm going to tell you, I feel like, and then there's going to be like a bitter taste in people's mouths. So it's not going to have like this happy, neat package ending, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So the question then for you is, how do you show up in this work environment so that you are in alignment, either not buying into the drama or the story, or is it time for you to go somewhere else? Once again, the word alignment is important, but this is going to drag on, and then people have bitter taste in their mouth. So this is a decision that you've got to make about, do I want to show up there every day? And And it's, again, it doesn't matter if you do or not. There's not a wrong answer on that. It's just, how do you align your energy or your frequency to be able to do that in a productive way for you?
Thanks, Michelle. All right, our next question is from Corinna. Am I on the right track with my kids' school situation? I feel so conflicted.
Okay, so here's what I'm feeling. I feel like at least one kid is switching schools, so I want to acknowledge that. And they're having me write this down. Yes, it is a conflict, but I feel like the child needs to switch because they're getting the opportunity to, I'm getting the words, embody more of who they are. So also, when we look at things as endings, it always carries almost a level of grief with it, whether it's the business, the job, our kids going off to college, on and on and on, right? But if we can start shifting the energy to see what the positives are that will come out of this, I feel like this is actually the right thing to do.
Thanks, Michelle. Our next question is from Sonia. Any messages from my son, Boyd Huffman, who passed 3 years ago?
Okay, as soon as I connect to his energy, I'm literally hearing motorcycles revving in the background. So here's what I will tell you. Pay attention to like that muscle car sound or motor sound and cycle sound, because that is him being like, Mom, I am having a blast. So I need to tell you that. Number one, he is having a blast. He hears you talk to him all the time. Keep up that conversation, but he's showing me a lot of electronical signs. So have fun with this, because I feel like, all of a sudden the microwave will beep and you'll be like, what just happened? No one's even in the house, or the TV volume's turning up and down, because he's giving me all of these signs to let you know he's here, he's around you, and he's also doing amazing on the other side. But yeah, something about that revving engine. He's having a good time, Mom. So hang in there, and know if he's having a good time, he's wanting you to have a good time while you're here too.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, our next question is from Gail. I am seeking guidance on what to do to help my sister who is widowed, no children, and a recent victim of romance scam. She lost her home and is having significant medical issues.
Whew, okay, that is really big, because I can feel like I just feel almost like a heavy energy in my stomach when you're reading that question. So there's a couple things that I want to say. Number one, I feel like she needs to make a commitment to wanting to be here. So I want to be very clear. It's not that I feel that she is, in danger or anything like that. But there's that point that all of us get to where we would call it rock bottom. We don't know how to pick ourselves up to take the next step. She is most definitely there. The emotion that she is carrying is what is physically affecting her body. So when we carry an emotion for a long time, we start to have liver issues or stomach issues, on and on like that. What I'm hearing right now, they're giving me the words purging. So I don't actually know if she's having vomiting and things too, but purging. So right now she's at a point in her life where she is purging. And I want to say that whole version of her. And I understand this completely, because I went through this with the end of my marriage, with Gary's suicide, with all 3 of my kids moving out to go to college in 6 weeks and all of that, right? There's this point where we are on our knees and it feels like everything has been taken away. And it is a universal purge. It's like beyond our human control. But what I will tell you is, if she can hang in here and start to find the good things in her day, even if that's just her cup of coffee or her cup of tea, she's going to be in a much better place in about 3 months. And it doesn't take 3 months to get there, but it's one step at a time. So tell her to hang in here. Tell her that this is rock bottom. It's not going to get any worse. And now the light is coming in, and she's ready to start building the life that works for her. And that's really important, because that's the question right now. What does this look like for you?
Thanks, Michelle. And I love that, like, she asked that for her sister. Like, how I love when we get these questions, like, people so badly want to help and support one another and be there. And it is hard, because all we can do is just love and support, and they have to go through all the grief, all the pain. And it's hard, because we want to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say this. One of the 2 words that helped me so much when I was in that dark night of the soul, rock bottom spot, was when I would say whatever, like, my kids are leaving, my house is going on the market, Gary died, whatever, but always, if it is a situation where you can add the words for now on there, because what that does is it makes it a temporary situation. And the truth is, every situation on planet Earth, whether it is amazing or horrible and everything in between, is a temporary situation. So whenever you can add the words like, I don't feel good, the answer, for now. I'm really sad, for now, for today, right? So let's give that energy and those emotions room to flow through us. And also, we're not going to be like, this is how life is going to be for the rest of our life, because that is the last thing that we want to claim. The other thing that really helps in these situations, when you are having a good moment, when things are going right, affirm to the universe, this or better, right? So we want to tell the universe, we want this vibrational match. I want it to feel this way or better. And those two things really shift lives. And I know you're like, how does that happen when it seems so easy? Because we're shifting our energy and we're shifting our alignment. And that's where life change happens.
Thanks, Michelle. I love that. I love that for now. Like that does, it just gives you that, like that little bit of hope. Like it's not going to be like that forever.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. All right. This will be our last question for today. We did go a little bit over today, but we've had so many great questions in the chat. And we love all these live questions and your interactions. It makes it really fun. So this is from Mark. I am concerned about my mental health. I am off meds for now since January. What can I do to stay mentally healthy? Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Mark. So number one, that's a huge question because everybody is going through different stuff right now. I need to tell you spirit side about medication. Okay. Medication, when used correctly, is a tool to help us have a better quality of life. So what your guides, your loved ones in spirit, your angels, God, source, the divine want for you is for you to have the best quality of life possible. In that way, whether it's Eastern medicine, Western medicine, a combination of both, it actually feels like it would be very beneficial for you because you did not come here to suffer and survive life. You came here to thrive. And with that, the universe has given us multiple tools to help us move forward in that energy. So if you have found something that has worked for you in the past, I would say try it again. The other thing that I would say is be very open to new things. Maybe you go get acupuncture. Maybe you go get cranial sacral therapy. Maybe you start new supplements, right? But really be open and claim that healing is yours and that you're ready for it. I want to say one more thing about depression because obviously, my life partner transitioned by suicide. And so I understand, well, and I've had depression myself at times in life, right? We all have. So let's talk about depression. Very often when we are in a depressed state, we are telling ourselves a false story. And that leads to even more depression. So it could be the story that this is my life. I'll never get better. I've tried everything, whatever these stories are, or my husband left me. No one's ever going to love me again, on and on, right? We have story after story in this life that we can create, but we have to become aware, critically aware of the story that we're telling ourselves, because what happens is that story leads to emotions that then lead to actions. And maybe the action is, I'm just going to sit on the couch and wait for life to pass. Or maybe the action is, I'm going to go learn how to rock climb and climb the highest mountain, right? But it's all based on the story that we are telling ourselves. So do what you know works for you, add in some new tools, and really become aware of the story you're telling yourself.
Thanks, Michelle. And thank you again for all of your great questions and writing in live and joining us live. We love it.
We do love it. I mean, I thought the questions today were so awesome because they were a little bit of everything. And this is how we get to learn and grow together. So I love this time. It's one of my favorite times of the week just to hop on here. And I would ask, if you are listening, please subscribe to my page. If you're watching this later on, please like it and subscribe to the page because that really helps us. And I'm excited to be able to come back here every Monday as we navigate this human life together. I hope you all have a beautiful week. Thank you, Heather, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Sending you a lot of love and light. Bye.
Bye.